Galloway's Tech Talk at 3 with Nigel and Jason from Vision Aid.
Okay, everybody. So welcome to Tech Talk at 3. It's Andrew from Galloway's. Hope everybody's doing okay on this lovely Thursday at 3 o'clock. I'm really pleased today to be joined by two of my best pals, Jason and Nigel from Vision Aid Technology. How's it going, guys?
That's good, thanks. Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
good afternoon.
Are we doing okay?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're doing fine, thank you.
Excellent stuff. It's great to have you with us today. We had a great session last week with Orcam. It was a really good session that Nigel came along to. So that was really good. And we said, we got a great session coming up the week after. And next week we got Vision Aid. So everyone was like really keen to get on, and they enjoyed. Lauren did a really good job last week with the Orcam, and we've obviously people want to get more information about Orcam, they can contact you guys about that as well. So I thought that was a good place to kind of just just mention that if people are interested in Orcam and what they saw last week, then you the guys to speak to.
Yeah, great. Because I mean, those of you who don't know us, we're a family business, family owned and run business. I think there's about 20 of us, just over 20 of us, something like that. And we're not tied to any manufacturers. So we like Andrew was saying, we sell Orcam, we sell lots of different products from all over the world. We also manufacture some products and ship them all over the world. But we've got a huge range in products. And you've asked me to demonstrate today the most expensive product that we do. So don't shoot the messenger. It's Andrew's fault. So I'm glad you're all sitting down when I tell you the price of this product in a minute. So.
I normally leave the price till the very end, actually. Yeah, normally.
I was because I didn't know whether to announce it first. Everyone will leave.
No, leave the price. Always leave the price till the end, I think.
Yeah.
It's great to have you guys on. So I'm gonna. You might be surprised out there, but I'm gonna be quiet now and mute myself. and I'm gonna leave it with Jason and Nigel, and then we'll come back for questions when you've done your bits and bobs. All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Right, so Andrew's asked me to demonstrate the most expensive product that we do. It's the most advanced product as well, and it falls into the category of what we class as a wearable piece of technology. So, and it's called an eSight 4. So some of you may have heard of it. It's a headset that you wear. I'll show it you in a minute. It's a headset that you wear, and in front of your eyes are two screens, and then in the middle of those two screens is a camera that effectively becomes your eyes, and that looks straight ahead. And then whatever you're looking at around the room, it magnifies, and you can enhance it, magnify it. And these devices are mainly used not for reading and things. We have lots of old interesting technology to help read and do other practical tasks. But these devices are great where you want to keep your hands free. So you might, for example, want to be playing a musical instrument. Now, traditionally, you'd have to sort of hold a magnifier in your hand and go across the music, but then it's difficult to play either the keyboard or a guitar. So this is where these wearables come in, because you wear it on your head, you look through it, it magnifies your environment so you can read the music with it. People use them before the days of COVID. People used to go to theatre and to the cinema, to gigs like comedy gigs and concerts, anything like that. They're great for playing games. I've sold them in the past for people that do craft work. So I once sold a similar product to a lady that was using a sewing machine. So she was using it so became visually impaired, but she really enjoyed sewing. So she wanted to still be able to use the sewing machine and to be able to hand stitch stuff as well. So she had one for that. And I provide them for lots of different things over the years, because they've been available for a couple of years now, and they've got better and better. And the eSight is the most advanced one, but it is the most expensive one. So I know Andrew says we're going to wait till the end to tell you the price, but I want to get it out there in the open first. Okay, so the price of the eSight, are you all sitting down? It's £6,995. So it's just a shade under £7,000. So it's a very expensive device, but it is brilliant if it works for you. It doesn't work for everyone. Wearables technology doesn't work for everyone. You have to have enough useful vision for these things to be able to work. So because what it does, they can't replace your vision, but what they can do is they make very good use of any remaining vision that you have left. So if I tell you sort of what people say to me, because I've obviously got normal vision, but if now, and I go out and demonstrate these products, but what people say to me is some of them, like for people with macular degeneration, for example, they'll say that the patchy vision, the dark vision in the center, because these devices fill your peripheral vision with so much good information, it makes that area, the dark area in the center, less noticeable. So it doesn't physically disappear, but it gives that impression. It makes it so that you can see much more detail and much more information. You can see longer distances away. So, but like I say, it doesn't work for everyone. And we have we ask people a series of questions when we look at these devices, and then we try and encourage people to try them, really, because we're still able to go out and do home demonstrations. We've got a very strict policy for PPE and COVID and keeping everyone safe. So we are able to come and do safe home visits. And we're also able to do remote demos like this if people don't want to do a one-to-one and take time doing that. But it is actually difficult for a wearable to do a remote demo. It's more difficult because obviously you're not trying it on and having a go with it. So whether you just want to watch television or you want to do something practical with it, that's where wearables are really good. So I'm just gonna flick to a second camera I've got here, which is looking down onto my table. So I'm hoping you can all see that. So this is just the padded case for I'll try and describe it as much as I can, because I think some of you are in on mobile phones and things like that. So it's a padded case that the eSight comes in. And if I take it out the case, it's got like a big padded circle that goes on the front and the back of your head. So it's actually really comfortable to wear. They call it a halo. And then at the front of the halo is a little adjuster control. So that makes it smaller and larger. So if obviously you put it over your head and then you tighten that up so it squeezes the front of the back of your head to make it nice and stable. But because this one is at the front and at the back, it's actually really comfortable to wear. It's quite light because the weight's nicely balanced, because at the back of the unit, around the back of your head goes the battery, and the front of your head, obviously that's where the screens are that you look into. And there are two arms that join the screens to the halo, the main halo ring, and one of those has got tactile marks all the way along it. So you can feel a row of dots. I can feel a row of dots, and then there's a blank area. That's like a touch-sensitive pad. So if I'm looking at something, I can swipe this backwards and forwards to make it larger or smaller, so to increase or decrease the magnification. So there are different ways of controlling this headset. So I can do it with the little pad on the side of the headset, so I don't have to hold anything. There's also a nice tactile remote control with it that you can use. And you can also download an app for your mobile phone on either an Android or an Apple phone, an iOS phone, and then you can also control it from the app. So there are multiple ways of controlling the headset. Now, it comes with 2 batteries, and each battery will last about 3 hours. So the Halo itself has also got an internal battery, which will last about 20 minutes, half an hour. And what happens is when you plug a battery into the eSight, it charges the main Halo battery, so that that means that when your 3 hours are up, you can pull the battery out, and the internal battery in the Halo will keep it going, and then you can swap and plug the other battery in. Nice and simple. So you don't have to actually shut it down, or you don't lose power at any time when you swap in your batteries. And the batteries are not nice feel batteries, and they've got a visual display on them as well. So when you shake the battery, LEDs come on the battery telling you how charged it is. And then the battery slots into the back of the device, and it doesn't matter which way around it goes. It's a lovely positive click. It just clicks in, and that's it. Okay. And then also on the eSight, which makes it different to other wearables, is the fact that it's got a HDMI input on it as well. So if you want to plug a video source into it, so you can take the feed from your Skybox or your Virgin Media box or any video source like that, a DVD player, an Xbox, a PlayStation, or a computer. You can feed that signal straight into the headset and look at it on the screens of the headset. And then that means you don't have to physically sit and look at the screen. So you could actually sort of watch your Sky TV and everything just lying in bed, or lying down if you preferred, rather than having to sit up and watch it. So that's another nice feature about it. It's also got a streaming feature as well. So you can, if there's on the app that you download for your mobile phone or your tablet, you can also stream information directly to it. So you can watch like BBC iPlayer and things like that in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to my other thing. Now this is a bit tricky. I've got to take my reading glasses off, so I can't see you anymore for a minute. Hold on. I'm going to take my headset off. I'm trying to bend my audio headset around the side. Nigel, is that all right? The audio, can you still hear me?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, thanks for that. Right, so I've got the eSight on my head. So I'm looking now into the screens on the eSight, and there's a camera in the middle. And next to the camera, there are different sensors, so it picks up autofocus and things like that. And also, it's also got a built-in LED, so that if I was looking in something like a dark cupboard and it was having trouble seeing into the dark cupboard, I can switch a torch on between the two screens, so I can project a light into that cupboard, so then I can see it much more clearly through the headset. So what I'm going to try and do is, this might be quite tricky because I'm running Wi-Fi over two lots of Wi-Fi here. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and load something so that you guys can see what I can see. Those of you who are watching on a visual device should be able to see. I'm going to see if I can make it so that you can see what I'm looking at. So let me just get I'm just going to connect to my so just bear with me 1 second.
Try and get your microphone a little bit closer there if you can, Jace.
I'll try, mate. Yeah.
There we go.
Hold on.
Bit of manoeuvring.
Can you hear me? Maneuvering. Sorry.
It's all right.
Try talking there, Jason.
Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Can you still? Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a bit faint.
Just a little bit faint, that's all.
Hold on. What's that like?
That's better.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Right. So now I've got it set up. Now what I'm going to do?
Don't move.
I'm trying not to move. Hold on. It's tricky, all this technical stuff. Hold on a second. Let me see. I've lost the Zoom meeting now. I've got to find all you guys again. There we go. So now I'm going to share the screen. That one. I think that should be okay. Right. Can you guys see that? It might not. It might be a slightly delay.
Yeah,
Yep.
we can. We got a screen there. Yeah, we can see through a screen.
Yeah. So so I'm now looking. That's my computer in front of me there. For those of you who can see visually what I'm looking at. So I'm looking around the room now. If I've got a packet of raisins here, actually, if I look down at those, you should be able to see that come onto your screen. And I can zoom in on those. Is that working? Can you see? Anyone?
That's very clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So then you can look at. I'm looking at the best before date there. Look as well. January 2020. I've got a year, just over just under a year to eat those now. So, and I've got some text which is set up over there, which at a distance. And now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get up and have a little bit of a walk around. So I'm hoping the Wi-Fi stays stable. So I've got televisions on over here, look. And actually there's my dog Baxter there asleep, if you can see him. So then I can pick up a remote control. And as I look down at the remote control, I can magnify that remote. It's a standard Sky remote control, Sky HD. So I can magnify that. And then I can look at the TV. I've got an overview feature. So when I hold that down, that'll give me an overview. So that's looking at the TV. If I bring up my TV guide, Sky TV guide, I can use the headset to magnify that. And then very quickly, let me just come out of that. I'll go have a walk into the kitchen. Here's where I'm really testing it now because, and I've got there's a clock on the wall up there, look. So that's, yeah. There's the clock on the wall. I can use it. I can open the fridge here. If you want to look at like best before dates and things. What's this? Grab this. Again, it's chocolate cheesecake. Here you go. And then if I look down at that, I can see the best before date on that. You can also, like you can on a video magnifier, I can also use what they call filters. So I can make it white on black on grayscale. So if that makes it easy for you to see. Yeah. Put that back. There we go. If you look at the milk here. That's nice and clear. And that's quite poor print on that milk, but it comes up pretty nicely on there. And then I can do the overview, so I can have a look into the fridge and look at other things. But you can use this as I'm moving around the house here. I can use it to magnify and look at there's my cooker controls for the oven. I can look at the display on the oven. And then onto the microwave down here. And that's quite a metal shiny surface, but that shows up quite nicely as well. I'm hoping this comes across on the webinar okay, for those of you.
It does, yeah, it's pretty smooth actually. I'm
going the furthest away from the router now. So this is into the garden. So then I can zoom in into the garden, look outside. So some people use these for going to sporting events and watching live action. Looks like it's been raining actually.
Is that one of your gnomes there? Yeah.
Yeah, there's two. There's one there. Look, there's a lady gnome there. There she is, and then there's a male gnome hiding in that corner. There you go. But you get the idea. So the eSight's pretty good as well because it's probably one of the only ones that you can use whilst you're walking around as well. So, and I can also, if I show you, if I run, and let me just see if the app will work as well. See if this might be pushing it a bit too far. I'm going to try and run the app. And then I can mirror. I'm going to mirror my mobile phone onto the screen as well. So my mobile phone, see if that connects. It might not work. Oh, there you go. Is that working, Andrew? So if I put iPlayer on.
Yep. Yep.
There you go. Oh, there goes Wallace and Gromit. So.
So you can watch a TV program, basically, yeah.
Straight through the headset, yeah.
Okay. Is that an iPhone or an Android phone you got there?
This is an Android phone, but it works the same on either.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So it basically you just mirror your phone onto the headset, so that it comes with the app. So if I want to.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got internet anyway. Yeah. So if I want a web page, look. So if I turn it sideways like that, you can see the text, and then I can zoom in just by pinching the zoom in on the phone itself.
And if you're watching something on there, would you get this? Does the sound come through the headset itself, or does it come through the phone?
No, well, yeah, you'd have a Bluetooth earpiece in straight from the actual phone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you get.
I
the
was
idea.
thinking. Here's an idea: is you could plug in an Amazon Fire Stick into the side of the unit. Can you use that?
Yeah, well, the problem is, let me just disconnect all that now. Let me just come out of this. Hold on, let me stop screen.
Oh, we've got super mirror
Whoa, look at that.
effect on the screen when you look at your laptop on a screen with the camera on it. You get like lots and lots of repeat images of what you're looking at. That's really cool. I like that.
Let me just have a look at that.
Very high tech, though. I've got to say, on Tech Talk at 3, that's one of the most high tech presentations anyone's ever done.
I'll stop sharing. There we go.
Mirror in a headset. Wow, yeah. That's well cool.
So that's the e-sight. Yes, it is the most expensive, but it is the most technically advanced. So let me just take it off. But no, I'm back now. But there are other options for those who want them as well, because you can get the same. You can use a similar devices, but there are larger headsets because they use a virtual reality style headset. So this is the most popular one in the virtual reality one. So this is the same idea, but it uses a Samsung virtual reality headset with it's called the Iris Vision, and it's got a mobile phone clicked into it. So it's using the camera on the mobile phone as your eyes. You can't use it as a mobile phone, and then you look through the lenses and magnify information through that. Okay.
The difference really is kind of with that you're looking at a very large screen, whereas with the e-sight it's more of the smaller screens that you're looking through. Yeah. And
the e-sight doesn't block your peripheral vision. So if you're out and about and you do need to use it a little bit when you're walking around, it's easier because you can still use your peripheral vision for your mobility. You can also tilt the head set up slightly so that you can then look around without it, and then just either drop it down or just look up through it if you need to magnify anything, where you can't do that on the virtual reality ones because they completely cover your eyes. But they're still great for watching TV and doing other things. They're still expensive, but you're talking 2,695 or 2,895 for the two most popular models. So you're talking under 3,000, where of course the e-sight's much more expensive. It's 7,000.
And the e-sight, it's its fourth generation now.
Yes. It's its fourth generation, which was released towards the end of last year. So.
Wow, so it has come along quite a way. And if you're looking at adopting that type of technology, now is probably a good time. I'm not normally an early adopter with tech. I like to wait for the fourth or the third. Third or the fourth, and it's definitely come along since I saw it first time around. I think you had a remote on a wire, and you had to hold that around. And whereas now it's all wireless and all interchangeable batteries, and
that's the beauty, because the image over the years has got better and better on it because the screen technology has got better, so the image has got more vibrant. They do offer on the e-sight 3, the previous model, they do offer a trade-in as well for that. We offer a trade-in. That's done through e-sight themselves. You don't get an awful lot of money back for it. I think it's £650, so it's not a lot, but it's better than most companies. Won't even offer you a trade-in on devices, but at least it's something towards the new one.
Brilliant, absolutely. Okay. There you go then. e-sight 4. If you look and use your imagination, you could. There's loads of things you could do with that.
Yeah, sometimes it's quite emotional doing demos when people haven't seen people for a long time, and they put it on, and then they can see sort of the loved one's faces and things like that. And then, it's sometimes difficult to talk because everyone's crying in the room because they're all quite emotional. Because it's lovely when it works like that. It doesn't work like that for everyone, sadly, and I wish it did. But when it does work, it's brilliant. It really is.
And is it? I just wanted to ask because some people might have the question: Is it recommended as a mobility aid, or has that not be cleared yet? I know that because you were walking around with it. Can it be used in that way?
None of the manufacturers state that you can use it as a mobility aid, and definitely not the VR headset ones, because they completely blank you off from the outside world.
Yeah.
So, but the e-sight one, if you look on their website and stuff, they do show people moving around with it. So as long as you're careful, you're okay. And that's if you were going to use one, that's the best and easiest one to use, because you don't have to block your whole vision off with it. You can lift it up slightly. So that's probably the only one that you can safely move around with, and it's much easier with that. Definitely. Cool. I mean, you still have to be more careful anyway.
Cool. Okay.
It's a bit like putting sunglasses on your head, isn't it? When you're walking around with.
Yeah.
And you can just use it when you need it. So if you're walking along the coast or something like that, you want to see the waves breaking or birds or something like that, and you can just drop them down and you can see close up and see things in the distance.
Yeah, people like there's a lady in Chesterfield near me that she bought the Iris Vision, the virtual reality headset one, because she gets so much pleasure just going around the garden looking at the flowers and things like that, and that's all she ever uses it for. She says it's brilliant because it also boosts all the color up for her as well, because she says my color vision was very poor, but with the headset on, it sort of amplifies all the colors for her, and she can see things in a lot more vibrant way. It's just really nice for her. So yeah, but if you want to try something like that, yeah, just get in touch and book a demo with us, and then we can come and try it, as long as you're happy for us to come and visit you. Like I say, it's all safe with PPE and everything, so yeah, please do.
Yeah, nothing to lose there. If you want to give it a go, get in touch with the guys and give it a go. Brilliant. Okay, Eastside 4, there you go. Nigel is back on the spotlight.
Hey.
I've added you back in, Nigel. So
thank you very much. Okay.
I think, is it over to Nigel now? Is it, Jace? Is it Nigel's turn?
I don't know. What's he going to do? Is he going to sing some songs? I don't. What's he doing?
Are you taking requests?
You can use that leave button now. And keep going. What I wanted to do was to just briefly show you a couple of quick things. While we had while we were looking at sort of magnification and using residual sight that you have, just to have a look at the Clover 7 magnifier, and more so the fact that you can actually have this little magnifier, which if I put my hand there, that's the size of the device. So it's the same size as the hand, but it comes with a little stand as well. So if I can bring this over here, and the device will just fit into a stand. So you can use it as a hand magnifier. It's quite large for a pocket one, but it's there and very easy to use. Just try and turn it on. Okay, and if we look at,
I thought it was going to show us your credit card then.
I've tried using this as my credit card. It didn't work. But the fact that I've got the magnifier on the stand means that I've got both hands underneath, and if I was doing something, modeling, sewing, or anything like that, then I can hold the device in the stand. But also, if I want to use it while I'm out and about, I can take it out of the stand. The stand folds up and goes into a little carrier bag, and there's some feet that come out there, and it will just sit on top of the of any text you want to see, photographs you want to see, or anything like that. You can take it out into the community. So if you're going shopping with it or something like that, fabulous little feature on it. So if I just take what I'll try and do is take a screenshot of there. And so I can take a screenshot, and that's my screen at the moment. I can hold that so I can bring it close to, and I can magnify that up and then move around onto the various people. Okay.
I think it's a good thing to point out that a lot of people that buy a video magnifier, sometimes they don't consider how they're going to use it in terms of the posture and where they're going to sit, and that can be the downfall, if you like, the pitfalls of buying an electronic video magnifier. So it's great to see stands being specifically designed for those devices, so that you're not tending to lean forward, which can hurt your back and it's not good for your posture and your shoulders. And as a tendency, visually impaired people, we tend to kind of move towards something if we can't see it very well. So it's good that these types of small electric video magnifiers have got the proprietary accessories and stands to make them more comfortable, to use.
Yeah, it also makes them a bit more versatile as well, rather than just having because you can just pass the magnifier. You could just pass the magnifier over the page like any normal magnifier, but it just gives it that extra level. So if you want to do if you like crosswords, you need to get a pen underneath it. It just makes it a bit more like a desktop unit, I suppose, but without the bulk. So
absolutely. And one of the things about it is that it's not only multifunctional, but it doesn't have the usual problems of multifunctional things, of being sort of no good at anything. It is actually very good at everything.
It's a lovely image on that, on the Clover stuff as well. Yeah,
fabulous image. You can also with the Clover 7, and it's got a big sister, the Clover 10, which is guess what, 3 inches larger. But they can both be attached to your TV screen as well, so you can actually put the image actually onto the TV.
Is that wireless, or is that with a cable?
That is with a cable. That's with an HDMI connector. But if you're setting up, or if you're going to sit down and look through your photo albums or something like that, then great. It will just stand on the desk, linked with the HDMI lead to your TV, and it will magnify that up. And I say this is it will fit in a coat pocket or a handbag, and you can take it round Tesco's as well to help you with your shopping.
Good old Tesco's.
Cool.
Or Lidl even.
Yeah.
There are other supermarkets, I understand.
So yeah, and with those Clovers, there's a 7, a 10, and now there's a 12 as well, which is that's been quite good. It's a good seller over lockdown as well.
But is it Lidl on price?
Of course it is.
Sorry about that. I had to do that.
That's all right. We'll let you off. as you're the host. We'll let
Sorry,
you off.
Lidl. Sorry about that, Lidl.
It's terrible jokes.
Yeah. The Clover 7 is £695, and the 10 is £995. I think £975. So they're a bit more expensive than a standard magnifier, but they're so much more adaptable, and they can be used for many, many more things, and they can be used hands-free. And using these things hands-free is much more useful than having to hold with one hand. To read a newspaper and hold a newspaper with one hand and a magnifier with the other hand.
Yeah, I've got a customer with a Clover 10 as well, and he turns his stand the opposite way around, and he flips it up so he can watch television through the Clover 10.
Okay.
It's not brilliant for watching TV, but he seems to quite enjoy it. It wasn't, and the stand wasn't designed for that, but he puts it on a tray on his lap, and then off he goes.
We often find that the manufacturers, developers of this type of technology, probably they learn from the people that use it, because they're the people that kind of go, this is how I want to use it. It wasn't designed this way, but this is how I think I'd be able to benefit from it. It's amazing what the audience can do with technology, how they can make it work for them.
You sometimes wish that some manufacturers do actually talk to end users before they design products, rather than it being an afterthought, because that's annoying when that happens. It's nicer if they involve people, visually impaired people, the actual end users that are going to use these devices when they're actually developing it.
It does. It makes sense to talk to us, definitely.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about reading bank statements, and one of the clever little things on this device is that it has a curtain effect on it there, and you can actually move the cursor up and down, so you can just look line by line at your bank statements, or if you find it easier to read line by line because you're your eyes wander from one line to the next, then you can use that little bit device there. Or if you want, then there's a line, and in the same way you can move the line up and down, so you can actually read through a book, and it can keep you on the line, as well as magnifying up to whatever size you want.
Yeah, and on the 10 version as well, you've got a self-facing camera. So on the 10, you can have so you can use it as a magnifying mirror. Make sure that you're looking good before you go out. So you can do all your hair, your makeup, kind of use it to have a shave. It's quite nice.
Going out to Tesco or Lidl, I suppose.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to look your best when you go there. So yeah, it's just nice because like a normal magnifying mirror, it might be set at 2 times magnification or 3 times. It's fixed, and the image is distorted. Where on a video magnifier like that, you can bring your face upon the screen, and then you can use the zoom buttons to zoom in and out to make it bigger and smaller. So if you're doing your eye makeup, for example, it may sound like an expert on eye makeup, you can zoom in just on your eye and then just do your eye, over your eyebrow and stuff. So
excellent.
Have we got time?
Makeup, Jason.
Yeah. Have we got time just to quickly show you the new Clover 6 handheld? Is that all right, Andrew?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If you spotlight me, so I won't keep you much longer, everyone. This is the new Clover 6 handheld. So it's the largest. It's a nice large screen handheld, but the beauty of it's really, really thin. So it's really ultra thin look, and it's very, very light, and it's lighter than most 5-inch units. So, and it's got like a nice matte finish display, and it's got tactile buttons down either side of the screen as well. And if I show it, let me switch to my other camera. See, I'm fancy. I've got 2 cameras. Poor Nigel's struggling on with one of his. So let me just. It's hard this because I think sometimes the focus on the old webcams is not so hot. So I can flip a stand out at the back of the Clover 6. There you go, like that. Pop it on the page. So this is what's this, some electricity thing from the electricity people. There you go. So we'll just let it focus. That's because so you can see the device there. For those of you who could see it, let me just drop my camera down a little bit, try and get it a bit bigger on the screen. How's that? So this device, I've got plus and minus on the side of it so I can zoom in and out. And I can also pinch and zoom on the screen. So if I prefer to use touchscreen gestures, I can. So I can zoom in and out, and I can also move the image around with my finger on the screen as well. So I can pan around the image. And I've got all the same features that Nigel just explained. So I've got all the different color ones. I can put a horizontal line on the screen so that'll help me track across the page if I'm reading text. And I've also got the vertical one for if I'm going up and down columns of figures to help me track. And then I've also got, they used to call them years ago line markers, but they're all electronic blinds that you can bring on. And you can adjust those. So I can move the position of those on the screen. Okay, or widen or get them close together. So that they're great for, like Nigel was saying, reading bank statements where you need to isolate some of the text, and it makes it easier because you can only see that part of the text then. Or if you've got if you've got something like nystagmus where your eyes are moving quite a lot, and if you do lose your position, if you've got a lot of text on the screen, obviously it's difficult to find your position again. But with using those blinds, it's much easier. And I've got vertical ones as well. It's got a huge range of magnification, so I could take it really small and get a lot of information on, or zoom right in. Huge. And then it's also full autofocus. So if I fold the handle out on it and hold it above the page, let me just put it in an inverted color so it's a bit. Look how far I'm holding that way away from that page. There's a huge distance, but it's still beautifully crisp. And I can zoom in on that. So that's great if you're in the supermarket or anything like that, when you don't have to get it right up onto the shelf to read stuff. You can hold it a bit further back, so sort of less conspicuous when you're doing your shopping. So I can comfortably read that. It's also great because if I need to write under it, I can hold it at a comfortable distance away whilst I write under and get my pen underneath and see where I'm writing. And the nice thing about this handle, a lot of manufacturers, to get around left and right-handed use, they fit the handle in the middle only like that. So, but it's not as comfortable to hold in the middle So this one's angled nicely so that I can hold it more comfortably. And then if I need to hold it in my left hand, I fold it further around and I can flip the magnifier over and hold it in my left hand. Because obviously if I need to write under it, I'll need my right hand to hold the pen. And then I can hold the magnifier with my left hand, or vice versa if you're left-handed. It's just a really nice, good quality magnifier. And it's got a beautiful 6-inch display on it. And it's, like I said, it's $595, and it's the latest one on the market. And then it's got a HDMI socket on it as well. So it's got a full-size HDMI. So if you wanted to connect this to your television or computer monitor, you can do. And then obviously this screen turns off, and then the information would then come on a larger screen like your TV. So then there you go. And that's a Clover 6, lovely little magnifier. I'm just going to turn it off. I get a choice when I turn it off, either send it to sleep or turn it off completely. I've turned it off. There we go. Thanks for that, Andrew. Sorry for jumping in there with that.
No, that's all right. I was gonna ask you. I mean, last week we spoke a lot about the Orcam read last week, and the Orcam products. What type of alternatives do you guys recommend for people who are looking for kind of audible solutions for reading and things like that? For portability, you can't really beat the Orcam stuff. It's good unless you're using something like an app on your phone, because I know some of you will use apps. So I'm sure you've spoken to about them on here before, Andrew, like, Seeing AI and things like that. So most people will be familiar with stuff like that. So unless you're using an app on your phone, the Orcams as a specialist device, they're the most portable reading device you can get. So you get the ones on the glasses, or I'm sure you went over the new Orcam Read Smart with a pen. Yeah. So you've got that. Over and above that, then you're looking at machines that are similar in size to a radio. Still beautiful and great machines, but obviously not quite as portable. But you can have them on a nice coffee table, and they've got built-in speakers, and they'll read out. And the best one of those that we've got is the Read Easy Evolve, because that's nice and simple to use. It's got nice voices on it. It's the only one in the world that can also do an A3 document. So you can open up 2 pages in a magazine, put them in front of the machine and press one button, and it will capture both those 2 pages, because it can do the whole double page just in
Andrew,
one press.
Can you spotlight me? And I've got one in my hand here at the moment.
Oh, there you go, as if by magic.
Ooh, look at that. Like a Blue Peter moment. Like one I prepared earlier.
Nigel's just knocked one up. Here we go.
I was going to be slightly cheeky, Andrew, and ask whether we could do a complete session on this, because it takes 3/4 of an hour to go over the.
Let's have a preview, and then we can definitely do a longer session on it for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the device itself, as Jason had described. It's about the size of of those of you who remember a transistor radio when they first came out, and it has at the top here there's a camera unit that fits in, and it simply fits into the unit at the top. And if we just turn it over there, there's very simple buttons. There's the read button, there's forward, there's back, and there's a volume button so you can go up and down with the volume. Lots more features as well. On the back, again, there's an HDMI connector. There's also a feature pack, which is a remote control unit that will do many more things. We won't go into it now. As I say, if we can do a separate session on it, that'll be fab, because we can then show you how it will read A4, how it will read a number of pages at one time, and you can also read sort of tabloid newspapers and such like as well. And the reading on it is second to none. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I suppose the difference there is it's that decision that you're going to make over portability. Do you want something that's portable that you can wear, or are you just looking for something that you can get a letter through the post, go to your dining room table, press a button, and it's read out to you? So there are pros and cons to both, I suppose. You don't have to charge. Does that have a battery in it? I can't remember if that has a battery in it, or is it powered solely?
There's a power cable that just simply connects on there.
Ah, right. Can you operate it without power, or does it have to be plugged in, that one?
This one has to be plugged in on the time. But let's go over that.
Got ya. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, there's the volume slider at the side and everything else. So we can do the whole thing when we've got it set up, so that for those of you that can see it, and we can do a better audio description of it as well.
They must be good. I mean, I had a Read Easy Move 5 years ago when I used to work for the RNIB. I used one at the RNIB, and it was superb then, and that was 5 years ago, or 6 years ago. So it's a long-standing product. Mine was a Read Easy Move. This is the Evolve, isn't it? So it's moved on a little bit into new generations. But yeah, brilliant product. Really, really good. So that would be great.
Good, lovely. Well, hopefully, as I say, you'll invite us back if we've been good, and we can show that to you.
So for those that can't see, Jason has got a piece of paper on his screen that's saying, "Please, can you unmute me?" I don't know what happened to him, but he's back anyway.
Hello.
What happened? Did you press the wrong button or something?
No, my dog started barking. Did you
Oh,
hear it?
I see. We don't allow you to. Yeah.
So I muted it, and then I couldn't unmute it, so I couldn't say anything.
Oh dear me.
I thought, what are we going to do now?
It's all happening today. Organised chaos.
Yeah.
But I was just saying what the Read Easy. I mean, I had used one 6 years ago when I was at the RNIB, and it was a really good product. So it's definitely.
They're just working on some new software for that as well, which I've seen like a little prototype thing of it, where when you get to, the trouble is with a bank statement, it'll read across you can get a Read Easy to read across the information, because most readers, including ORCAMs and stuff, they all read down. Yeah. So that's great for reading text, but if you want to read a bank statement, you need to read across.
Yes.
Okay. But it's still, unless you're really used to that kind of technology and taking the information with speech, it's still a hard slog to take a bank statement in, isn't it? With speech. So now they've got it so that they're looking at it so it makes more sense of a bank statement. So it'll read it'll say like it'll say description, and then it'll read the description. It'll say date, and then it'll read the description. So it reads the title every time it reads the actual contents of each column. So
that's clever.
Yeah. So then it'll say amount, and then it reads that, and it goes back to date, and it tells you whereabouts it is. So it sort of grids it for you. So it's just so it makes more sense in audio, because the problem is it's just a continuous stream, isn't it? Especially in bank statements, because they don't use any punctuation. So a reading machine will just go for it. It doesn't pause. It just reads.
Yeah, and it's like lists and takeaway menus and things like that.
Yeah.
Or catalogs where the prices they're in separate columns and rows, and it reads down all the items, and then it goes to all the prices, and you're like, well, okay, $4.99, $2.99, $6.99, $7.99, right? Okay, which one was that?
Yeah, what's the fourth one down? Which one was that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm laughing about it, but actually, it's really frustrating.
Yeah,
and that just, I mean, that's something that still has, with OCR, has not been fully tackled yet, and that's just kind of it's crazy, but I think it's not that the technology can't do it, but it's also that everything is delivered in different fonts, structures, styles, and it's very difficult for the AI to supposed to understand the difference between a Barclays bank statement and a Halifax bank statement.
That you've hit the nail on the head. It's the AI part of it that needs improving. It needs to be, because like when we look at a bank statement, we know that we have to read it across, right? When we look at a magazine, we know we've got to read it down, the information.
Yeah.
But then when you look at a train timetable on a screen, for example, like if you looked at it with an ORCAM, it'll read all the platform numbers first, because they're all in the first column. So it reads all them. Then it'll read the trains, and then the description of where it's going.
And by the time you've got,
yeah, you've
by
missed
the
your
time
train.
you've missed a train, yeah. By the time
Just make sure you get the first train in the morning.
Yeah, you might as well just jump on the train and get on it.
Yes. Be early. You should be early. If you're using travel assistance anyway, hopefully, don't rely on your Orcam for that. Use travel assistance. Andrew's number one tip today.
There you go.
Assistance. So have you guys got some? I'm going to unmute everybody and let them ask you some questions. So I'm going to ask all to unmute. We'll have about 10 minutes of questions. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Right. So I must warn you. I have to warn you that once we open the floodgates, they really do open. So, I'm going to ask everybody to unmute themselves. So ask you all to unmute. If you want to unmute, please do, and feel free to ask a question.
May I make a point first? It's Tracy. Just going back to the e-site.
Yeah.
That you covered first. Just really bringing it back to the point of walking around with it. I think from a safety point of view, speaking professionally, that sounds really pompous, doesn't it? But speaking professionally, I do think that it's not something that I would recommend people do from a safety point of view, because what it will do, it will further reduce your field of vision in terms of looking at the environment through your own vision. Yeah, so it's just really to make that point, just from a safety perspective, and it might be worth making that point to people that you visit as well.
Yeah, I'm always careful about it, but the e-site ones, I do know people that do it, you see, quite a lot, because there's a guy that, like with the e-site 3, the older version, he uses this quite successfully when he's out and about. So I don't want to put people off, but I always...
No, it's a good point. But I do believe with the e-site, can you wear it like a visor that you can like bring it up?
Yeah, that's what most people do. So you'd wear it, and you can actually tilt it so you can just use your normal vision. But then when you wanted to look at something and magnify, you just tilt your head down, look through it. Yeah.
Just if you're walking around with it in,
Yeah, no, I always tell people straight that it's not a mobility device. It's not designed for that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good point. Thanks, Tracy, anyway.
Okay.
I think, Tracy, whenever we do a demonstration, we do state that they shouldn't be walking around with them.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Usually it's when people have been using them for a number of weeks, sometimes months, that they get more confident with them. But they all come with a carry case so that you can take them around. And when you get to wherever you're going to go, if you're going out for a picnic or something like that, and you want to look at the birds in the tree or
brilliant for that.
You can carry it around. It's got something sort of very safe to carry it around. And as always with these things, we get people ringing up saying, "Can I drive in one?" For example.
Yeah, I've been asked that before. Can I drive in it?
God.
Honestly, yeah.
And the answer
No way.
Most definitely no.
Imagine the distance perception.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dear me. No, that's not recommended.
It's like trying to drive using a binocular. I mean, oh God.
Can you imagine the conversation with the police officer next to the car? You'd say, what a large head you've got, police officer. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. Now I can see you.
You say you just get out the car. You bumped into somebody. You get out the car and you go, get the battery. Where's the battery out the e-site? Give it a good shake.
Yeah.
Oh, the battery died. That's why.
Yeah. I'll pop my other battery and
Sorry,
I'll be on my way.
I just started, but the battery ran out.
Yeah.
I've got to compliment them on giving you 2 batteries, actually, because they could have sold that with just the 1 battery and charge you for an additional one. So it's quite nice that they gave you 2 batteries with the e-site.
It is actually, yeah.
Yeah, really. I mean, it should be for.
Yeah, but for £7,000, let's be honest.
I
would expect it.
Definitely.
Cheapskate some people can be in that respect. So
that is true, because some companies are just greedy like that. They'd sell everything as an optional extra.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that they give you a battery. But thanks for that, Tracy. That's a really good question. Thank you for that.
As a point of interest, what weight is it?
Oh, hey, now there's a question. What weight is it?
What weight is the e-sight? It's do you want it in old money or new? It's 596 grams or 1.3 pounds, just over a
right,
pound.
That's better.
Yeah.
Pound and a quarter.
Yeah.
Pint of pure water.
I manage you don't feel the weight as much because it's kind of balanced.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, because all the other ones, all the weight's at the front, where that one is really nicely balanced.
So front and back.
Yeah, it's a really nice design, because even the old e-sight 3, all the weight was at the front, and then you put these it was almost like an elastic band thing that went around your head, and you get it halfway around and it slip out your hands and it keeps twanging off.
Basically, you end up with a pain in the back of your neck.
There's a joke there somewhere, but I'm not going there.
That is the problem when I suppose sometimes when you put these kind of headsets on, you go into another world. Like, I mean, I've done it with the more the VR ones, like the Iris Vision and some of the other types. You kind of put it on and you're like, and then you take it off and you're like, oh. And sometimes you feel a little bit disorientated. Where I think with the e-sight, it's a little bit more designed for you to quickly look through, quickly have a look through them at something, and then when you want to walk, you push them at the back or whatever, and they just come up, and then you just use your your normal vision then. To walk around, so you like a visor that you just bring up and down as and when you need it. I think once you get past the aesthetics and all those things, and I don't think the aesthetics are that bad, to be fair.
I quite like the look of it. I think it's quite a cool looking device. Certainly a lot sexier looking than the old e-sight 3. I think it's quite a modern looking thing.
No dangly wires with you hanging around.
No, and it's quite, if you're into your gadgets, I think it's quite a cool looking device. Yeah.
I think setting people's expectations around this type of technology, we're still, some people say things like, why can't we just look like a pair of sunglasses? Well, the camera's still got to go somewhere. It's got to have a battery. It's got to have, we're still, one day in maybe 40 years time, we'll have just like a pair of sunglasses that's just got this built in. Whatever. But I mean, we've come such a long way actually with this type of technology from when it's started to where we are now.
I think it'll be surprising actually just how quickly things will develop. I don't think it's going to take an inordinate amount of time, because things are moving so quickly and technology is shrinking so much.
And the battery technology is getting better and better, because the problem with a wearable at the moment, like you try, especially with the e-sight, you drive in two screens at high brightness and contrast and a high definition camera as well, and all that. And it's got, it's got a Bluetooth unit that you power in as well, just like you have in a phone. So it's got Bluetooth and all that in it. And you're powering all these little devices, all through that one battery. It's not like a mobile phone where when you use your mobile phone, you do what you need to do off it, then the screen will turn off. When using an hello. We've got a phone call question coming in, and then so you're running it all the time through the screens. It's not going off every now and again. It's it's full on. Hello.
Jason's phone.
I'm going to tech talk thing. Jason's talking. It's rubbish.
Have we got any more questions from anybody?
Yes, Key here. Question for Nigel. The first one you demonstrated, the stand.
Yes.
Can you still use your charger through the hole? What's the hole for? There's a hole on the stand I can see.
Yeah, you can still use a charger in it, can't you? There's a lot.
The charger actually goes into the top bit up there, but the battery life on these are incredible anyway.
And the other hole is for the button, so you can switch the autofocus on and off while it's in the stand, because if you're using higher levels of magnification, and say if you were writing under it, if you put your hand under, sometimes the autofocus, that your hand is larger than the area that that it's looking at, because you're looking at a very small area where you're writing. So the focus might try and focus on your hand. So what you could do, you let it focus on the page, press the autofocus button so it turns the autofocus off, and then whatever you do underneath, it won't refocus. It stays nice and sharp on the actual text. So it's quite a nice little feature that you could just quickly switch the autofocus on and off. So that's what the other little square holes in it for. So I hope that answers the question. Sorry, Nigel, I jumped in there, mate. Sorry.
No, I was just doing the action.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very clear. Thank you.
That's okay.
Thanks,
Keith.
stuff. Is it David? Have you got a question, David?
Yeah, it's me, it's David here. The next question was relating to that product. I just saw him use now. Can you still, does that stand still leave a hole to get the HDMI cable to go out to the telly?
Yeah, because it's on the opposite side of the machine. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Cable.
Well, that's good, because somebody
can you see where my finger is?
A desktop model for half the price, effectively, because most of us have got that spare telly, haven't we, or spare monitor?
Oh yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, good point, David.
You know.
Yes. So you could set it up like that and then just plug it into a big screen. Yeah.
And then take it off the stand when you go out.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Or on a train, or when you're traveling, or something like that, to read something on your knee, you know.
Yeah, so that gives you the comfort when you're at home to read and write like a desktop unit, but you can still take the device out and take it with you when you go on the move, can't you? The stand folds up quite neatly as well. That comes in a padded case. So
so you could use that in a hotel room then. Anyway.
Yeah, because some of these stands are they're all fixed and rigid, so you can't do anything with this. This folds up.
Yeah,
really
Nigel's just doing a foot up.
There you go.
For those of you that can see,
yeah, he does, doesn't he? So anybody in an employment situation that's moving from office to office,
it's like QVC. This you ever watch?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The other comment I want to make, when you said about the e-site. Perhaps I fully support, don't use it for walking around in public streets and things like that. But surely in your own familiar environment, like you showed in your own house and like that lady's back garden, you're all right. You're not coming to danger in other people, really, are you?
No, and some people do.
Unless it's stairs. Don't use it on stairs.
Well, yeah, that might be a fair comment. Don't use it on stairs.
So like Nigel says, when people get more confident, even though you tell them not to, that I've gone back before and seen people sort of not lifting it off the head and just having a little gentle move around with it. Because if they're in the kitchen, for example, and they're making drink or doing things, they don't keep lifting it off their head. They'll just leave it there because they know the kitchen. And I always tell people to be wary, especially with the VR headset ones, because if you go to lean on something or grab something, it's often not where you think it is at first, because that takes a bit of getting used to, because you think it's close. Because you think it's closer, but it's not. It's because you've zoomed in. Yeah. So you go out and you go to grab it, and it's actually quite a lot further away from you than you realised. But you get used to that.
For a glass of whiskey and you knock it over. I mean,
you certainly will want to.
Actually looking past.
Yeah,
you're actually looking past
the whiskey up.
But actually, coming back to the e-site, I mean, obviously, it is a lot of money. So, do people have the option for a financial package to buy it?
Yeah. We offer we use a system called Divide Buy, which is interest free. Okay. But the downside to it, you can only take the payments over 12 months, so it's only a year. So on an e-site, obviously, it is going to be still quite expensive, but it depends. But you can put down what deposit you want. So it has to be a minimum of 10% deposit. But if you put a larger deposit down, so if you've got some savings and you want to put that down as a deposit, then obviously your monthly payments will be lower, but it is interest free.
Yeah.
What we're looking for, is visually impaired people. We want it to be like QVC. We want it to be within 4 easy payments.
4 easy payments.
$7 grand. I've had to earn your salary, mate.
Yeah. Those of you who've got e-sites in your basket now, you need to finalise your purchases.
I had a question.
Go on, Jenny.
Hi guys, it's Jenny from Galloway. I work with Andrew for my sins. I've done something really bad in the past life.
I'm going to say, we'll hold that again.
We all feel sorry for Jenny.
Yay! I wanted to know whether you were saying about how difficult the AI is to distinguish between magazines and different kinds of formats. Do you reckon that we're going to get there with the fact that you can just kind of touch it, like on the Orcam saying touch to say, oh, this is a magazine, so it'll know to read in that format, or double tap and it's a bank statement? Do you reckon
because you can do it like that, because that's a bit like how the Read Easy Evolve reading machine does it, so that if I'm reading a normal document, I want it to read vertically down. It's a magazine. I just tap the capture button, the button that takes the picture. But then when I put a bank statement under it, instead of tapping it, I press and hold the button down. So that tells it to ignore the fact that it can see columns on the page. It reads straight across. So that's another way of telling the device that it needs to read it in a different way. But it'd be nice for that to be fully automatic, so you don't have to do that. Because especially if you've got really poor vision or you're totally blind, you wouldn't necessarily know. And it can cause a bit of frustration because you wouldn't know till you sort of start reading it. You think, oh no, it's just reading it all wrong. So I mean, it's a good point. It's the intelligence will get better because it's like speech did years ago with the artificial voices. You know, you'd get like reading and reading. It's the same word, but now the speech tends to look at it in more of a more context, so it can see what the word is, as you know, what sentence it's in. So it tends to make a better decision which one of those to say. So you know, so the artificial intelligence will get better over time, and it's just tricky at the moment because you know nothing's perfect. It never is. So you know, Orcam, brilliant as though the Orcam devices are reading, you know, they're not perfect.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I love listening to an audio book because it's acted out and it's recorded and whatever. But there are lots of books out there that haven't been done as produced as an audio book. So to be able to use a device with speech with the AI to read that back, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it could be really, really hard work, you know, to listen to something because there's no emphasis with speech then, and
no, they've got good intonation now, and they sound more human-like,
sound more real, and I mean sometimes they do over dramatic, exaggerate words as well, which is quite funny. But it's definitely become a lot more accessible to your ears now in terms of being able to, and the choice of voices that you can have. You know, if you're Australian or Irish or American or English,
Welsh, Scottish, got all of them now.
South African, you know, there's so many different voices. Synthetic voices out there to use. So
they're politically correct.
They are getting better. They are getting better.
And it's quite a pleasure to listen to them now. Like you say, because you'll get people. I come across people on a daily basis. There might be like a railway enthusiast, so they get the specialist railway magazines. Now they don't come out in audio, they don't come out in audio, so that a lot of that stuff, and that so they just want to be able to get the same magazine that they've had for years, just put it under the reader and just press the button. Within like 2 seconds, it's reading it. And they can read
absolutely.
They can read just what they used to.
I think the type of things like the A-Lady, the A-Lady, Amazon's A-Lady has really kind of moved synthetic speech along quite nicely. Because it's that's a much more mainstream kind of commercial aspect, but it's moved everything else on a lot more. I feel, to make things sound more real, more realistic.
Definitely up the game, hasn't it? Because like you say, it's the pressure is now that it's mainstream and people want it. That's pushed the demand.
And the beauty of mainstream stuff, if it can help someone who's got a visual impairment, it's much cheaper because it's mass produced. So things like I wasn't going to say its name, but I know why you didn't say it. The A-Lady, like devices like that, and the Google one, it can transform someone's life. Where if you give someone a computer to get information from, if they've not used a computer before, it's a nightmare. Where you can ask that, everyone will talk to that. You can ask it a question and it will respond. It's brilliant.
More intuitive, isn't it?
Is there, would you say there, Jason, that there is a market here, not just for visually impaired people, in terms of the A-Lady, you'd be forgiven for thinking that was designed for people who were blind or partially sighted. You'd be forgiven for thinking that it wasn't. So it's accessible to everyone. So the likes of the Read the Read Evolve, the Read Easy Evolve. I'm assuming. I mean, that could be useful for somebody that's got full sight, but they want to rest their eyes. They could have a reading impairment, dyslexia, things like that. So do you see a market like that for products like that for people?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And like if like we've already said, it's like the OrCam stuff. A lot of that gets used by people in education for people with dyslexia, and other conditions. So, but again, it's a specialist product. So the amount they're going to sell compared to manufacturing something that's mainstream is a very tiny amount worldwide. So that's why the cost is still very high, because there's still a lot of research and development gone into it. So wherever we can find products that are mainstream, it brings the cost right down, more affordable. People try it. It's like I'll go out and show. If I might go out and do an OrCam demo, and then I notice the person's got.
When I have to leave, gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Cheers, Ted.
Bye, Ted.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah. If I might go out. I might go out and do an OrCam demo. Bye. I might go out and do an OrCam demo, and then notice they've got an iPhone. So I'll have to say, well, have you tried seeing AI? I'm not there to just sell them an OrCam, because if that met their requirements, I can't beat that on price. It's free.
Yeah.
And some people will honestly say, yeah, I've tried it. I can't get on with it. I don't like it. I'd rather just look at the OrCam if you don't mind. That's fine.
I think that's a good point, and I think, no disrespect to you guys, Jason and Nigel.
Still with you, Andrew.
A lot of people out there may feel, well, you're just going to sell me something because you want to sell me something, but actually, we know that in this market, in this sector that we're privileged to work in, it's actually all about finding people the right solutions. And as you guys know, selling someone something that's not going to work for them, it just makes more work, and B, it doesn't give you a good reputation either. So, and C, it's because you're quite honest about things, and you don't want people wasting their money all the time on something that's not going to be good for them. So it's that's a great quality to have, and that's what I always say to people, is that get a home demo, try the equipment out. There's no pressure on this. Is it going to be right for you? If it's not right, if it's not right for you, it's not going to be right for Vision Aid either, because they want to make sure you
kind of equipment, when you're looking at the kind of cost implications with specialist equipment, I think it's absolutely vital to have that trust between the company and the purchaser, and obviously, because you're doing it in an ethical way, you are building up that trust with your customers.
Yeah, because then later on, if down the line, because I've gone to a demo, then you sort of come away because I've shown someone how to do the same thing on their iPad. They don't need any specialist technology. But then if at a later date they do need something, they'll trust us enough to come back and say, oh, by the way, I'm struggling with this now. Have you got anything that helps that might help?
It's very, very, very true. Definitely true.
Yeah, because I suppose using a touch screen, as somebody gets older, they might lose coordination in the fingers, which this is probably a very difficult one. There might be a dab hand on their iPhone, but due to age, the fingers aren't so clever. So a talking device, could be the answer.
Yeah.
I wonder if, are we reaching the point now where these things are going to merge? In other words, a specialist product could interact with, say, the iPhone, or save its contents to the NAS drive you might have in the loft, or something like that.
I dare say, because that's what some of the manufacturers have done with the virtual reality headsets. They've used some mainstream technology, and then merged that with their own technology. So, so that's why you get some of these headsets around about the £3,000 mark, where eSight haven't done that. They've developed everything themselves, but that's resulted in a £7,000 headset.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
The controls of that, I meant to ask you. Is the remote control for that in your pocket, or have you got a cable dangling out your ear down to your?
Well, for the eSight, David, is that way? On the eSight?
Yeah, the eSight, yeah.
No, there's a touchpad on the side of it you can control it with, or you can use it.
Right. So you were doing that then when you were making it magnify when you looked at the oven.
Yeah, what I was doing, I was actually holding the remote control in my left hand. That you couldn't see that. I was holding and the remote control is wireless. There are no wires to it. It's just like a yeah, because I can do that and it's quite tactile. I can do more controls from that easier than trying to do it on the pad, because I didn't want to be tapping the pad and affect it, and I didn't want to knock my headset off.
And quite a lot of these devices are now taking on voice control, as we were talking about before as well.
Yeah.
So you can ask on the Iris Vision, you can ask it to zoom in and zoom out.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to use any fingers and anything at all.
But you can imagine in certain situations that's not as useful, because like you're in a shop, it's easier just to reach up and stroke the side of it to zoom in and zoom out. You don't want to be shouting,
I was going to say that.
Zoom in.
I was going to say, it's going to be.
Who are you looking at?
Zoom in. It will be a distraction in a workplace, won't it? You know, if you're using that in a kitchen or a workshop.
I won't like to do that anywhere.
Too happy with you. No.
It's a little bit like that with your cam as well, I suppose. If you put your hands up to stop it, or you'd point at something, and you think if you're in a busy place, someone might think you're pointing at them, or put your hands up at them.
It can be a bit tricky. But I do think it's only a matter of time before things are going to be more integrated as well, because I think people will see the commercial advantages of doing that.
Yeah, and as technology gets better anyway, then, it makes it so that these things are more flexible, and you can integrate more devices with them, because manufacturers, like you say, Tracy, manufacturers see the value in it.
Yeah. It's going to be driven obviously by supply and demand and commercial demand and what have you, but I do think it's only a matter of time.
Well, it's already happened with a games machine, hasn't it?
Yeah,
somebody, a standard off-the-shelf games machine will now connect with touchpads and other things specially designed for people with physical disabilities that you can only get from specialist suppliers.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
actually, PlayStation themselves have done their own.
Yeah, Microsoft have. Yeah. They do it for the Xbox of disability.
Yeah. There's loads of stuff like that now. It's great that we're at that.
I know Microsoft are pretty hot on accessibility anyway, so I mean, that's why I think it is only going to be a matter of time before everything starts to merge.
Well, I mean, I know in the toy industry and gaming industry, I used to have a very large toy store, and there's a very, very large organization that is for focusing on people with disabilities, that we have meetings every single year at Toy Fair that focus specifically on meeting targeted industries and persons of need. And this is something that they've really wanted to develop. And they're trying to find the different organizations to give them the feedback that they need. And with technology impacting so many different companies which previously weren't involved in the technology aspects, especially since there's consolidation and so many companies buying out each other, it's becoming more and more of an integral part. And these companies don't even know where to turn to get the input. So, I mean, if somebody like VisionAid contacted a large organization and said, who do you work with? They're open. I mean, they're really, really responsive, especially like Bondi. And I mean, I know a lot of these companies myself, and I've had my children, test. One is and my brother's children involved. One is autistic, and they're really, really trying to focus on that market, and it's an emerging market for at least the kids. But with the seniors, it's been really, at least where I've been, I'm not even aware. At least last week, I have to say, when I came on for the first time, I wasn't even aware of some of the extensive nature of where things could go. And I'm not just looking for myself because I'm in my 50s, but my mother is, coming to an age where she's needing things. And I'm looking at technology that if two of us were in the same house, two of us could use and easily adjust. And it's got to be tech for the tech impaired.
Yeah.
I've not heard that one before. That's a new terminology.
Which one? The tech impaired?
That's a new one for me. That's a new one for me.
We'll call it a genism. But I I did have a quick question for Jason, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I like my art, and when you were describing the Clover 7 and 10s, you showed a stand that was, that was above, I guess 10 inches above. I have something similar that I used to use for art, that I would use to say, hold a phone, and I could look at that item and then draw.
Yes.
Can you use for, say, the Clover 6, because there's a stand, say you don't have your stand, but you're going into another house and they have the stand. Could you readily attach, here, I'll show you this, kind of like here. You can actually see the stand has little pieces similar to what you were describing.
I'm trying to find, oh yeah, okay, I can see you now. Yeah, I was trying to find you where you were. There you go.
With the Clover 6 or something like that, be able to fit into, say, a general stand. Because for the way that
I don't know. I've never tried it, to be honest, because I've not tried it in a general stand. It's quite a wide device. It might fit in something like an iPad holder or something that was designed to hold a tablet.
This is something that would hold, say, a tablet. A phone. I've used it for phones, especially. I've been using it right now, so I don't have to hold my phone.
Yeah.
And it's been making it easier for me. But when you're looking at a device that's handheld, that would really be helpful if I could take, similar, because it doesn't come with the stand like the 7 or the 10. And when you're talking price differentials, there's definitely a different price point. I mean, I know that obviously some people have it easier, and you're talking about funding to get it for others.
Yeah.
Or having to wait.
And so, Jennifer, the best thing we can do is to have a look around and see if it will fit in. I'm sure it will, but we can find the best and most appropriate sort of either tablet stand or mobile phone stand, because there's some of these are adjustable anyway, and just finding it so that it doesn't impede the camera.
For me, I do need some sort of magnifiers, and I do like to do, say, a combination of word searches or sewing and needlework, and some of these are very intricate and small things that you need to get into. And I'd like to be able to even share it with a parent who is an exceptional seamstress who has had to stop. So, you want something that you have hands-free. And I mean, I'm not sure which are the best devices. And Andrew, I'll speak to you about that at another time, because I'm very new to this, and I'm very thankful for all of you to offer these sessions, because they are really helpful.
It's great to have you with us today, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah.
The other thing is, Jennifer, actually, if you like word searches, you could download a free word search on your phone.
Right now it's a combination of, I have vestibular migraines and I can only look at them for a short period of time till everything starts spinning. Somebody has graciously...
have your night light thing on your phone enabled, because that will take out the blue light element of your screen.
I'm still trying to learn a lot of things, but at the moment, I think the antenna on my phone is actually broken. My neighbor actually brought a telephone up to me so I can get onto the video during the session. I don't know if you realized I actually switched from telephone to Zoom. God bless her soul. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for that.
Well, go on your settings on your phone and enable your night light, and you'll notice the difference. It'll reduce your eye strain.
Yeah, and your I suppose dark mode as well is pretty.
You can have it in dark mode.
Dark mode's becoming a thing in everything, isn't it now?
Yeah.
I've seen software updates. Bug fix to add night mode. It's coming up in nearly every software package under the sun. Nearly.
Yeah, it's because there's a lot of research being done on the blue light element of screens, and it is recognised that it can create problems.
Yeah, it's not good for your health. Anybody, even if you're fully sighted.
We've been saying for a long time that the inverted colours, the darker modes and the inverted colours is really, really much more relaxing. On your eyes.
Glare.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Simple as that, really.
There's no going back.
I always read white on black wherever I can.
Yeah.
But even the white on black, if you have your night mode, if you have that sort of night mode on, even in dark mode, because you'll find sometimes that the white print on the black can sometimes, even that can be a little bit glary, even though you've got the good contrast. It's just getting a nice balance between the two.
Yeah.
And it'll be different for everybody as well.
And that's why it's adjustable.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna thank Jason and Nigel for joining us today, and we'll definitely get you guys back on again. Definitely, I think it'd be great to do a feature session on the Evolve. But I think that would be really, really good to kind of show the visuals that you can do with it as well as the speech, because I know it's with the feature pack, you can do other things with it as well. But yeah, it's been great having you guys on today, and thank you very much for joining us, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.